Hi, my name is Jenny. I have had an altar since I was 13 years old, and it is the very first thing I unpack when we move. And today I wanted to share how to create your own altar and the sacred importance of an altar, give you some ideas of what items to put there, and just give you a really basic how-to guide. So first I wanted to start with why an altar and what is an altar. So an altar is just a space that you designate to your spiritual path. And so it's for any religion, any path, any kind of thing you're manifesting for. It could be a place of just prayers. It can be a place for oracle cards if that's what you do. It's just a sacred space. And chances are, if you're on a spiritual path, somewhere in your home you already have an altar or sacred space. You might have, some things you found in nature, or a couple of like statues of angels or your crystals, but you probably already have a space. And if you don't, I'm going to give you some ideas of how to make the most out of a minimal space. So first of all, I have a little box. It happens to slide out, and it doesn't have to be like this, but if you are someone who lives the van life or lives with people who don't understand your spiritual path, or you travel a lot, you can make a tiny little altar with a little box and get miniature things, like little charms, a leaf of a piece of sage. You can get, tiny bottles of crystals, a small seashell, a little picture of something that's important to you, and you can have a travel tiny altar. Other options are taking a scarf and laying it on a dresser or a little table, and this kind of delineates if this is something special. You can use the Marie Kondo method of a top to a box. And then the other thing that I really like is a serving tray. Serving tray kind of, especially if you're going to put things like water or incense or something that's kind of messy, that I feel like the tray might be the best option. I happen to get this one at H&M, just a regular serving tray. You can also use a dinner plate. Some people have these beautiful ornate places for their altars, but for the average person, we don't have maybe that much space or even maybe that many things to put on our altar. So that's kind of the way to set one up. The other thing I suggest doing is cleansing the items you place on the altar. This is a white sage spray made ethically, and this is white sage. You don't have to use sage. You can use incense, you can use sweetgrass or cedar, mugwort, rosemary, bay leaf, any of that. You don't have to use smoke. You can use a piece of selenite as a wand, and just kind of cleansing. And what you're doing is you're cleansing and delineating, again, this is something sacred. This is a place where I have sacred things. This is special to me. This is kind of like a vision board of my soul. This is a vision board of my prayers, of my manifesting. And so you want to do everything with intention. So first you're going to cleanse everything, and then you're going to maybe say a prayer as you place things down, or simply, think, this represents this for me, and as I place this down, this will help me get grounded, or whatever you want. Right? So some options I just wanted to kind of share, some common things you'll find on altars is representing the 4 elements. So for earth, I like to a lot of times use salt, but you can use a rock, you can use a little bottle of sand. For air, I like to use a feather, but you can use incense, you can use a bell. Fire, almost always I represent it by a candle. They're easy to come by. You don't need such a big ornate candle, right? Just a little tea light is fine, and you don't have to light it. And for water, a little bowl of water or a seashell, something like that, right? So you have the 4 elements represented. And then from there, it's kind of make it what you want. You might want to do seasonal things. So as the seasons change, you're going to put things that represent that to you. This helps you tune in to Mother Earth, to the cycles, to the changes. I have a whole course on this, and how important that is to really let yourself cycle through. Our ancestors would have lived in caves, would have been outside. They would have noticed the changes, been tuned in with the earth naturally, but with our artificial lighting and being in homes all the time, we're not as tuned in. So we bring it into us, right? So collecting things like this, or rocks, or pine cones, acorns, fallen leaves, things, fresh flowers in the spring, anything that you're feeling like this is representing this time of year at this moment. Another thing you can put on your altar are your oracle cards, or any kind of tarot. If you read tarot, then be tarot cards. You can put manifesting. So this is actually a piece of rock slab that I painted to represent change. And I have raven. It says truth, courage, rebirth without fear, transformation, and create. So this is in honor of one of my spirit animal guides, but it can also be a representation of manifestation. You can have representation of people who have passed away, who you're praying for and hoping are guiding you and feeling that they're guiding you. I have a little Mother Mary coin, and this is representative of my grandmother who passed away. She's Catholic. And so you can have photographs. Really, the possibilities are endless. I think that as long as you cleanse every item and you set it out with intention, and then you keep it clean. You don't want to just set up your altar now and then leave it for years. You want to dust it and change things out, reorganize it, make it really connect with you. And you don't need this, okay? So yes, you don't need an altar to be a spiritual person, but it really helps focus. This might be sitting where you do your meditation or your morning prayers or your readings or whatever you're into. And it just helps you focus yourself and your reminder that you are connected to God, that you are on a spiritual path. You may want to write down prayers and place them here like on a new moon, and then burn them on a full moon to really get that whole manifesting effect. And more for that, I have a video on moon manifesting. But really, it's just make it what you want. And it's really been an important part to my spiritual journey. Like I said, I've been doing it since I was 13. And I just find it really valuable to have this place in a home, no matter what home I was in or who I lived with, that was just mine and just dedicated to God and my angels and my spiritual path. There's something very sacred and holy about that. And it always makes me feel good. It makes me feel better to look at my altar, to fix my altar, to rearrange my altar. And it's just been a really integral part of my spiritual awakening and my path, and I wanted to share it with you.